Bree's mom, and today I want to talk about miso soup and sea vegetables, a few sea vegetables, at least an introduction. I will be using mainly 3 sea vegetables today. Here we have here we have the wakame, which is here, wakame. We have sea palm here, and we have kombu. So each one of them will be in a different miso soup. What I'm going to start with right away is getting the first soup ready. And this one is going to be cooked. It's going to be onion, garlic, sweet potato, and kale with a bit of rosemary at the end. And of course miso. Everything is going to be seasoned with miso. That is the major topic. That's the major product here today besides the sea vegetable. Miso is every day a bowl of miso soup, even twice. Great way to start breakfast. Have a small bowl of miso soup, then have your grain and veggies. And then at lunch here in the house is always miso soup. So we're going to start the first soup here with just a little bit of olive oil, about a teaspoon of olive oil. And get that going. Put that on low. And then I'm going to add 2 cloves of minced garlic. You can use a garlic press if you want. For those that haven't used garlic before, you take off a clove and it's still got that hard skin on it. And what you do is you put it on a cutting board and you put the knife on top of it and just go like that, and the skin will come off easily, beautifully. There we go. And then I'll just slice through this, mince it up, but you can also use a garlic press. I've read different things on, some people believe the garlic press is better because it disperses the garlic more in the dish. All right, so we've got that. Now I've already, and I will show you with another recipe how I do the onions and how I cut the vegetables, but I'm just going to get this one going. This one takes longer than the others. So I've got some diced onion, 2 small onions, and what I mean by that is this size, or 1 big one, because right now there's some really big ones out there. And we'll get this going in the pot with the oil, saute it a little bit, and then I will add my kombu stock to this. There we go. And kombu is, I'm going to take a piece like this. Okay, this piece. Okay, this piece, you have to soak it to reconstitute it. So this is one that's been soaked, and this is the dried kombu. Sea vegetables last forever. Both of these products, sea vegetables are dry, so until they're reconstituted, I have them in glass bottles, and they keep forever. Now, I did a bean video where every time you cook bean, you want at least a size piece of kombu like this in your beans. Because what it does is it breaks down the protein and fat and allows the beans to be more digestible. Also, kombu will reduce tumor growth. It's good for, especially our children, because my focus is on my daughter and has been for 35 years, and nutrition for her. So this will help with children having difficulty swallowing. It has some, how I'm making for this soup. There's so many things, my head just goes a mile a minute thinking about it. Before, I made a kombu stock, a soup stock. It's in the pot at the back. What I did is just 8 cups of water, and then I took a piece like this, which is now this. I retook this out, and but I boiled it in the water for about 10 to 15 minutes to make the stock. So the stock is waiting for me now. Then I'm taking this out, and this is going to go back in the pot diced. these are the most unrecognized foods, and very, very powerful foods. At least in Japan and the Asian countries, they have been recognized. So this is just going to go right back in this pot now, because this is where the stock will go. And it will just, no one will even notice it's in there. It'll dissolve in beautifully. So, soup stock, kombu, first one, is used for a soup stock. So just 8 to 10 cups of water, a nice piece or two of kombu in it, bring it to a boil, let it be on low, more or less a simmer, for 10 to 15 minutes, and you've got your soup stock. Now, always with a bean, a piece of kombu, always. This is starting to smell good. Put it up here. So, sweet potato, organic, always organic. Oh yes, and always, before I started this, I washed my hands, always. I just clean, you can just, organic vegetables, you can just clean with a vegetable brush, which you can get at most health food stores, or definitely online at goldminenaturalfoodstores.com, kushistore.com. So, and then I'm just, sweet potato come in all shapes and sizes. A couple of long ones, they're long, this one's a little fat one. Just cut right through and dice it up. I slice through the middle. Look at how beautiful that is. I love the colors. Slice right through it. And then I slice through the half, then I'll take that again, put it down like this, slice through it again, and then I'll dice it right up, and it's ready to go in. Oh yeah, this is nice. Now what I'm going to do, and then this will just cook off on its own nicely. Okay, I'm going to take the soup stock that I'd already prepared, and in it goes. Beautiful. There, we're good to go. And this will go on this back burner. It'll take about 20 minutes before I add the kale at the end, and I'll add the rosemary. So that's doing good. Now, let's get on to, so that's the soup that's made with the kombu stock. Now we will go to, I think we'll go to the next soup that's going to be made. I just have water in a pot, say 4 or 5 cups of water. And now I'm going to use the sea palm, which is this thin, sort of webby type one. My absolute favorite. I love them all, but I have a weakness for that one. So, but once it's reconstituted, it looks like this. So, let me try and separate some here. Oh well. So we go from this to this. Quite a difference, okay? Just so I want you to have a reference point of what this looks like when it's reconstituted. So I'm just going to dice this up. So the second miso soup that I'm making is I've just diced up the sea palm to go into this pot of soup. We're making 3 different kinds today. So now this one's going to be the sea palm, and that's boiling away a bit. Then I'm adding to that some onion. It doesn't have to be that complicated. The only soup that's taken about 20 minutes is the one on the back, because it has sweet potato, and it's a little bit chunkier. So what I'm putting in is the onion and also some winter squash, very nice. And I will show you this. I'm using this type of winter squash today, and I'll go through as soon as I get it cooking how I prepared that. I'm also putting in burdock. Burdock, I know it looks all dark. I did wash it with the vegetable bush. I just diced this up. This is very, very strengthening. If you can't find it, parsnips will be a good replacement for that. This is so strengthening to the whole lower area of your body. It's because it's so difficult to dig out of the ground. So I will continue putting the burdock and the winter squash in here. Here we go. That's beautiful. Nice. Oh, that's going to be a nice soup. I think this is the one Bree's going to eat for lunch today. We're going to have a variety, that's for sure. So we now have 2 soups going, and they're all miso soups, and you'll see at the end is the time when the miso gets added. To prepare the burdock, I just washed it, and you can also, remember if it's organic, it's fine with the skin on it. You can also use a vegetable peeler to take off the skin if you want. Then I would just cut through this and cut through it lengthwise. Let me put this over here and this over here so I have a little bit of a view. Okay? All right. So I just slice it long, slice it through, and then all you have to do is then dice it up. It's ready to go. Okay? It's very white on the inside. So that's the burdock. Same thing with parsnips. If you're using the parsnips, just cut straight down like this. Okay? Straight down through it. And you could do half moons, which would mean just slicing it. I'll show you. These become little half moons. That means a half moon cut. You slice right down through the middle and then slice through this way, and you've got a half moon. The onion is the same. I've shown this before. You have the top root of the onion and the bottom, so you always want to slice it right through like that. What I'm going to do is take the skin off first, so I'll just go right in here and then peel it back like that. And some of you, I'm sure, are totally aware of how to do this, but I was surprised when I heard that only 28% of the American people cook at home, so I'm taking time to introduce you to this. For me, it's such second nature. All right, and then when the skin is all off, there you go. So, if I wanted, I could dice it, which would mean I can take this off too. There we go. I would just, this is still that, where this holds it all together. And so I could slice right through and dice it, like this, right through the half, and then you have the 2 halves. And this is the part here that holds it together. Now, if I want to dice it, that's fine. I could just cut that off, just slice right through and dice the whole thing. Okay, like this. And that's diced. Okay, so that's the diced onion. Now, to create half moons for this, which is what I'm going to do with this next soup, this part right here is the part that's holding everything together. It's sort of like a little, I don't know what you call it. Anyway, to do half moons, I need to cut that off, because that's the part that holds it together, and then I'll dice that up. And then, once that's off, there we go. Then I will just slice it right through, okay? And when I slice it through like that, then it'll fall apart, and I'll have what is called the half moon onion. Okay? So that's going to go in the pot. Beautifully. And for this soup, I'm going to use a sea vegetable called wakame. And this is the one right here. The wakame, I think I took. The wakame looks like this. You can't tell, but it's got a hard spine through it. But that is the one difference with wakame. Okay, this is the dried, this is the reconstituted. Let me see if I have another piece with the spine. Oh, here, this is beautiful. This shows a hard spine right through there, which I'm going to slice that off because it's really hard to chew that. Okay, so this is the wakame, which we're going to do next in this soup. I'll put in the sliced onions. Go. And this is a very simple soup. It's just going to be the onions, the wakame. Okay, so hard spine. I can even go like this, I think. 1 minute. See, I can tear it off, and the hard spine is still there. I just want to show you. See? There we go. And the hard spine. I'll get that little bit because every little bit of sea vegetable is gold. This you discard. Okay? The others are fine. They don't have that. This is the only one that has that. Now I'll just lie it down and slice through it, dice it up. Now, all sea vegetables have anti-cancer, reducing tumors properties in them. They're full of minerals. This is your mineral store. Just each one has different vitamins and minerals, but they all have minerals and they are highly mineralized. Kombu is the one that made the soup stock is the most mineralized, and literally kombu as a soup stock will enhance the nutrients of everything else it's cooked with. So it's quite a wonderful food. The wakame, and I'm going to put a bit more. The wakame and sea palm, all of these, probably all of them, they help with if someone has a cough with phlegm. They're really good for that. They enhance the immune system. Just about everything I cook with seems to enhance the immune system. I will go and put up this diced onion in here because I don't want to waste it. I just wanted to show you how that was done. So the next thing that's going to go in that pot are some carrots. And I'm just going to matchstick a couple of carrots to go in here. And these have been washed. These are organic. A little small, but so I am literally slicing diagonally through the carrot to make matchsticks. So there I'm going. So miso is about 2,500 years old. I would love you to go. It's so worth it. Go to southrivermiso.com and go to, first of all, they have recipes there that you can connect with. Also go to the section about them, and there's a couple of videos. One was made by Martha Stewart visiting them, and it shows the process of how they make this miso. You want unpasteurized miso, okay? And you want, I'm speaking from my child, 3-year barley miso is the healing one. The longer it's fermented, the better. And this is a sweet brown rice, which is great for sauces and in summertime. But this is my main miso. They have chickpea miso and a dookie bean miso and brown rice miso and on and on and on. And you really, it is to watch the process of how they basically make this by hand still. To have that quality is awesome. Also, the seaweeds, or sea vegetables as I call them, are at Ocean Harvest, or there's Maine seaweed, also sea vegetables. Oh, I was thinking of something really. Oh, yes, their website also has recipes. Please click on their recipes, because you can give you ideas. When I am looking at recipes, though, I improvise. You know, I stay away from the big three allergens: wheat, corn, and dairy. I stay away from those big time. So now I have sliced through the carrot, and I'm just going to put it. I wish I had to show you close up how I do this. But then we have little matchsticks, okay? And that is going, and if you could do the half moons also, if you wanted. I just felt like cutting them this way. And maybe it sounds funny, but it keeps the food. When I look at a plate, I love to see all the colors and all the different cutting, and it keeps the variety going. Another thing, so we've got onion and carrot, and I might put more towards the end some Napa cabbage in that, or Chinese cabbage. Some of these greens are going to go in the sweet potato. So now it's just a matter of them cooking, and I should quickly show you how to deal with a winter squash for those that haven't seen it. You also cut this right through like this, separate it. Then with a soup spoon, go and scoop out this whole thing, all right? Then cut one end off, put it down like this, one end off, and the other end off. Hi Bree, we'll be there in a minute, honey. And then slice away from you. You can take the skin off. I do for soup. It depends on what I'm making. Sometimes with beans, they're organic, I leave the skin on. But it depends on how the texture, how I want the dish to be. So that's basically it. Then you slice through it and dice it up or chunk it up and put it in your soup. Miso, the unpasteurized, the fermentation that goes on creates these wonderful enzymes that we need for our digestion and in our gut. And I'm thinking of our children who usually are on drugs of some kind, a lot of seizure drugs, and they get sick, and then they need the antibiotics, and they need all kinds of an array of drugs. This drugs will deplete the body of enzymes. So miso soup every day rebuilds that up. Miso soup is fabulous for anybody recovering from illness. It enhances the immune system. I'll tell you a story about a hospital that was a mile away from the epicenter during the bombing of Nagasaki in Japan in 1945. And this hospital, everybody ate miso soup every day. And so the miso takes the radiation off. The sea vegetables do that too. So none of these people suffered any of the side effects of the radiation. So it's so important. Today we have radiation coming at us just from, you riding a plane, whatever, you know. Plus there are accidents, you know, power plant accidents that have happened, and this is one of the simplest, easiest, most delicious way to protect yourself. So we're going to just have these soups cook a little bit, and then I'll come back and finish it off. All right, so now we're coming to an end with the miso soup. We've steamed up the windows. We've been cooking so much. And so now everything goes off boil because now it's time for the miso. Miso has lactobacillus, the same as yogurt. And that's why also it's really, really good for your digestion. And it has traces of B12, and it has the same pattern of meat in it. The other thing I didn't mention, these sea vegetables and the miso, these are, and of course the vegetables, are very alkalining foods, and that's where you want to be for healing. The only thing I need before I put the miso in is the sweet potato soup. I put in some rosemary as a seasoning, about a half teaspoon. And rosemary also, of course I buy all my herbs organic. And rosemary is very, very good for the brain and also to strengthen the immune system. So there's a whole world of healing herbs out there too that you can spice up your food with, just add to the food. I'm going to add some greens. Now, this is all different forms of kale that I have here today. And kale is a superfood. So we have a red kale, and then we have this, and in summertime the leaves are much bigger than this. Now we're in winter. This is a curly kale, and then we have what is called a lacinato kale or elephant kale, and this also is a lacinato kale. It looks a little different, but they're both lacinato, just different families. Okay, so what I'm going to do is chop this up. I'm just going to make a mixture today. Why not? And so this was a soup that had the sweet potatoes, the garlic, the onion, the rosemary, and the stock made with this soup was the kombu. And there we go. Just put that in, and then it'll just with the heat cook very, very nicely. Now, there's two ways to add the miso. Very important not to boil miso because you'll ruin those enzymes. And those enzymes, those intestinal flora, like when our children are on antibiotics, it destroys intestinal flora. And the intestines, if you see a picture of the intestines, you see a picture of the brain, the matter looks very similar. They're very connected, our intestines and our brain. So what's good for here is good for the brain. And all the sugar, sugar, meat chemicals, all destroy that intestinal flora. Okay, so it's really, with eating miso soup every day, slowly, you can build a really strong intestinal flora. It's interesting that in 1900, per person, we ate 1/2 pound of sugar per year. The going rate right now per person per year is 156 pounds. And we wonder why ADD, ADHD, our kids aren't, they're all over the place, is the level of sugar. And Bree and I don't eat any, so our portion, I guess someone else is eating that. But, think about someone if you've been around people who are drinking alcohol, that some people it puts them to sleep. A glass of wine will put them to sleep. Another person who's maybe mainly shy, will get very sociable and out there. Another person will start to be unruly and difficult to be around. And then there's the people that are just destructive. That's sugar. That's the same what sugar does. Depending on the body, that's what it does. And these foods are very calming. Bree is very easy to be around, a calm, easygoing person. But she doesn't have a chemical in her body. So it does affect why the kids aren't calm. So now this is fine, this is cooked. But because Bree will have a portion of all this, what I do first, as I've said before, you always take out your child's portion first. So what you can do, say you're just making it for the whole family, but I'm sure most of you people are cooking for your kids. You take out a portion of the broth. Then what you can do is, say I was doing this for the whole pot, I would take probably a tablespoon of the miso and put a tablespoon of the miso. Oh, this is like gold. Smells so good. And you would put it in here, mix it around, Get it all well mixed, and then pour that back into the whole pot. 3 minutes just on simmer, and your miso soup is ready to go. So what I'm going to do is, because Bree is going to have some of that, we're not going to do that to that pot. What we're going to do is just take about a half teaspoon in this bowl. And it's piping hot, so it's totally fine. Mix it around, get the miso going around. Beautiful, beautiful. And then I will ladle out a bit more. Oh, this is so nice. Bree's getting hungry. I hear her in the background. I do have hers ready. So then you always garnish. This one will be either with scallion, sliced up scallion, raw, or diced up parsley. Right, so and then I will have to take out more for Bree later on. Now, Bree is not going to have this one. So another thing you can do is, this is a neat little, this is for miso, adding miso to soup. It's got a little hook that goes on the side of the pot. You can get that probably from Goldmine Natural Foods.com, definitely at the Kushi store. It comes with a little wooden thing to crush it in, which I don't know where mine is. So what I would do is put the miso right in here, like that. Bree's not going to have this one, so we are good to go. Then I crush it against the mesh, and it just disperses beautifully in this soup. Yum. And just leave, oh, that's nice. Yeah, I do like my own food, I know. So there, oh, it smells delicious. So that one, you just leave it for a couple of seconds and good to go. And remember, this was the kombu stock. This one was, trying to remember, this was the wakame. And I kept it really simple. This is a basic miso soup. All it is the miso, the wakame, the onion and carrot. Doesn't have to be more complicated than that. Please vary the recipe, the vegetables every day. You can put Napa cabbage, you can put parsnips, you can put daikon, you can put green beans. It's endless, mushrooms, it's endless what you can do. And please, you can find definitely a miso recipe at South River Miso. And so this is it. It's ready to go. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to ladle it out into the bowl. It's been in that heat very nicely. And this miso soup is ready, and I'm going to garnish it with parsley. There we go. All right. So the last miso soup is the sea palm. And by the way, sea palm has similar benefits and characteristics as the wakame. They're good for phlegm and colds. Wakame is high in calcium. It's the highest next to one that I haven't cooked with today, hijiki. Hijiki is the highest. Also, what I wanted to tell you, there's a couple I haven't used today. There's arame, which is very similar to the wakame and the sea palm. And there's dulse. Dulse is full of iodine, so these are wonderful foods. Also, when you're buying a package like this, okay, this is the arame. And yes, it's expensive, but it's high quality healing food. And look for a recipe on the back, okay? And that's just follow that recipe. If there's corn, just take the corn out. I would suggest not using corn. Most corns and soybean are GMO in this country right now. So, and our kids are highly allergic to the dairy, the corn, and the wheat. Okay. So, and nori. Oh my goodness, there's nori. Nori is great. Nori is the most digestible sea vegetable. Comes in sheets, and I will do a video strictly on making vegetable nori rolls. This is what's around sushi, but we're not going to use the raw fish. We're just going to use vegetables and brown rice. But nori, what you do is there's a shiny side and there's a flat side, and you quickly, this doesn't need heat anymore, quickly toast the flat side. Just over a flame like this. Be careful you don't burn it. Keep it moving. And this is what we'll do when we make the nori rolls. Toast all the sheets. This is edible. Just many children like nori, at least macrobiotic children, just like this. They just tear it off and eat it. And highly digestible, full of calcium, full of all the building your immune system, strengthening your blood. These misos and sea veg, they strengthen your blood. You want good blood quality because that's what feeds your whole body. This other soup, I will take out portions, just like this was the one that, this is to me, a hearty, today's a cold day here. This is hearty because this has the winter squash, it has the burdock, and it has the onions, and it has the sea palm in it. And I will miso it like the others. I'll either, take out Bree's portion, absolutely. Bree has 1/4 teaspoon of miso per bowl. That's it, 1/4 teaspoon. Then I wouldn't go, you could go up to, I think a teaspoon per person per bowl, I wouldn't go, I've seen people go as high as two teaspoons per bowl, which at least for me feels real salty, but a man in your family, the husband, the dad, is probably going to like that. But just be careful. It's a healthy salt, but it's sea salt that makes miso. Sea salt, a bean or a grain, and the koji is what makes a miso. And the longer it's fermented, the more years, the better. 3 years is ideal, 1 to 2, better than for our children. I'm trying to cover everything I need to talk about with this. So it's really, really important for our kids because they are on antibiotics, they are on seizure drugs, and to rebuild that flora for them. And, I was brought up with homemade soup every day. My dad was the soup maker in the family. And noon, I still do that. We have miso soup now, though. Noon, lunch was always a soup. And, being the last of 6 kids, we cooked real foods that could be, a lot of people could eat. A soup goes a long way. And please, miso soup every day. It's such a base to macrobiotics and to health and well-being. It's considered a food of all of these are considered foods of the gods in the Orient and are eaten for long life and health. I also, to finish off, will give you an antidote that I was looking at some supplements from this company, and they had a supplement that supposedly is for long life. And I looked at the ingredients and I had to smile because some of the major ingredients in this product were 2 of the things I've cooked with today, and both were sea vegetables. One was the kombu and one was the wakame. It might take you a while to adjust to the taste, but you have herbs, play with it, and it's one of the best things you can do for your health. And mom, you need to keep yourself healthy too, because the stress, what you're going through is trauma. It really is trauma. I've been doing this almost 35 years. It took me a while to recognize it was trauma because you're on alert all the time. The flight or fright, you're always there watching your child, making sure they're okay, and that will wear you down. And this is how I've kept myself going all this time, by eating really nutritious, full of good nutrient food. I cannot afford to eat fast food. I can't. I need to stay healthy to be able to care for my daughter, and this is my family, So I think I've covered everything, and if I haven't, it'll come up in another video somewhere. So thank you so much. And Bree is hungry. I can hear her in the background. It's time to go and feed Bree.